Hey everybody, welcome to Mowers and Blowers again. Today I'm on a snowblower pick. This snowblower is one of those old Sears Craftsman ones, you know, the 5 horsepower kinds. You know, it's old and stuff like that, but this one's in decent shape for what I saw on Let Go. He was asking like 50 bucks, and then I told him that I would give him 20 bucks. And then he
Take
says,
the
no,
next
too
right
low.
onto Dalewood Place, then your destination will be on the right.
You know, a week later he wrote me back and says, okay, come and get it for 20 bucks. So actually it's nearby my house, so I figure I'd tackle the snowblower market, being that it's getting kind of chilly now, and you know, people are going to want snowblowers. So this looks like a really quick
Your destination
fix.
is on the
Maybe
right.
just a carb clean or something. 20 bucks, I'll fix it, sell it for 150. And looks like we're here. So I just picked it up. There it is. It's in really good shape. It's got the key, electric start. Probably just needs a carb clean. Anyway, I'm gonna put that in, and I'll see you later. So I got it home. Guy just basically told me that it starts and it just runs really rich. So when it gets up to like the wet snow and stuff like that, it bogs down and stuff like that. So I think it just needs a carburetor clean, or maybe he didn't mix the oil right or something like that, but I don't think it's a big deal. It's a Tecumseh engine, which is good. Has electric start. It is the old model, you know, that it's 2-cycle, which means you still have to mix the oil and the gas, which is, you know, a pain. But what that avoids is that you never have to give it an oil change, because it doesn't require, it doesn't have a separate oil reservoir. Auger paddles look really good, you know, doesn't look like it's been used all that much. It's a very old model though. Anyway, I'm gonna try to start it up right now and see what happens. I'm gonna switch to on. Just pull. I'm going to try electric start. So you just hook up your electric cord there. You know what that is? It's not going to work because the starter is just spinning. It's not moving up with the spin to grab onto the gears of the flywheel. So that needs to be greased, which is the reason why it's probably hasn't been used before that way. So that's not going to work. Doesn't even turn over. So we'll have to take the shrouds off and see what's going on. So we'll start by taking off these screws right over there. You know, when I was taking these 3 screws off, I noticed that the choke was off. Well, that's why it didn't start, for sure, you know. Well, anyway, I've just put it on full choke now. I'm going to give it a pull. It still doesn't start. Alright, well, it starts. It probably still needs a carburetor clean anyway. I'm going to take off the remaining bolts and get that shroud off. So that was the last of the screws. Not even moving. Well, just wanted to let you guys know the reason why I'm doing this is because, well, I mean, you know, while I do sell two-stage snowblowers, they're always often in the $400 to $700 to $1,000 range. And then there are the group of people who are not willing to spend that kind of money on a snowblower. So what comes into play is you can get these cheaper single-stage snowblowers where people who are a little bit on a budget will say, you know, well, all I need is a snowblower so I don't have to shovel. I don't really need, you know, the bells and whistles with those big ones, you know. They'll soon learn, you know, people do start off with the single stage, but they'll soon learn that you're going to need it if you live on the East Coast like I do on Long Island, New York, where it snows at least, you know, 5 to 10 times a year, significant snow. You know, you're going to need the two-stage snowblowers. But, you know, this is to capture the market of those people who are willing to spend maybe $100 to $200 on a snowblower, and that's where these come into play. If you can get these for 20 bucks, which I did, and sell it for 150, that's great profit, you know. I'm going to try to figure out how this thing comes off. These things have lots of screws on the side, so I can take the bottom shroud off. Got to take the bottom shroud off anyway because the carburetor's right around here, so I got to take this off anyway. So I'm going to take the bottom parts off. Now you have access to the carburetor and all this other jazz, so it looks like I didn't need to take that top part off after all. Spark plug access right over here, and here's your run-of-the-mill carburetor. Looks like it's some torque screws to get it off, and that's what it will do. We'll disconnect the fuel line and take 2 torque screws and take this carburetor off, open it up and see what we got, because that's basically 90% of the culprit of most starting problems and maintaining a throttle problem. So we'll do that now. So just remove the 2 screws over here. Carburetor comes off. You got to remember where the linkages go. You got a spring here and a throttle linkage here, and you want to just disconnect it without breaking anything, and always remembering where they went. So it's this hole over here, and the little spring goes into the same hole. This is a vacuum line over here. You just pull that off, which I'll do. If you haven't worked on these things in a while, or you don't really, you haven't done it ever before, you just want to remember to put this back where it was, screw it back in there so you'll know that everything's right there. It's good practice, because then you're going to wonder, hey, where did that go, you know? So this carburetor is your typical, this is a choke, typical carburetor. This button here releases fuel in the bowl. See? So you know that there's a lot of fuel in the bowl. I'm going to remove this screw and see what's inside. So I just removed the bowl nut, and once I removed it, you see that? There's a little hole in that, you know, bowl nut, and you're supposed to see right through it. And I can, but it still looks a little dirty. You know, you can see that there's residue there. But I can see through it, which is why we did get the start, but it doesn't look like it's completely clean. We'll take this bowl off now. Okay, I just removed the bowl. It's a little dirty, and you see that there is some crap in there. That's what gets sucked up into the fuel. You can see that there's some varnish built up here. It hasn't been cleaned in a while. You can look at this bowl too. So we're going to get some carburetor cleaner and blow out all the holes. So, I found out the problem. So this is the float, right? There's gas in it. So if there's gas in it, there's a hole in here because gas is in here now. So that weighs down the float, which controls the amount of fuel that it is getting to the carburetor. Because this is no good. This is definitely a problem. So either I get a new one, or I drain out the gas in here, which I don't know how I'm going to do. and then seal the hole, find the hole, you know, or just buy a new one. I'm going to see if I have one like this. I don't think I do, but that could be it. But I'm going to continue to take apart the carburetor to see. Upon further review, somebody has already taken this apart before, and as you can see, has soldered this area here. So they knew that there was a hole in it already, and they tried to solder it. See? So to save time, I'm going to look for another one that I might have that fits this, because right now we can't really use this. Cleaned out the bowl, some carburetor parts cleaner. So I was looking through my bag of old carburetors. Look what I found. This is off a Tecumseh lawnmower carburetor. Looks exactly the same. Cool, huh? I'm gonna clean this up. This one's good. This one's solid. Awesome. So I'm gonna clean this up and replace it with the one that has fuel in it. Score. I just used a bristle brush and I cleaned it out, so now it looks like brand new. I was mistaken. If you look at this one, this also has that solder mark there. So I think it's from the manufacturer. They all have that. Learn something every day. Got everything back together again. Gonna put this on now. Got the linkage all put back on there. I knew exactly where it went because remember I put the screws back, so gasket's in the right direction, screws are in the right direction, and we're minutes away from firing this baby up after that carburetor cleaned. Dude, I didn't put everything back together again because remember I still have to tackle why that starter didn't work, but we're going to try to start this now after that carburetor clean. I checked and saw that there was fuel in the bowl from pressing that little thing, so we'll give it a try. Nothing to it. I'm going to try the electric start now. Yeah, it's still not catching onto the gear. I don't know why. I'm going to have to take that apart too.